As we enter week 10 of the Premier League, we've seen our first casualty, and I think a couple more may be about to go as well. Welcome to my predictions for week 10 in the Premier League. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to the prediction time as we look ahead to game week 10 in the Premier League. As always, let me know who your team has got down below. Do you think they're going to win, lose, or draw? And if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Footy Network. And this video is sponsored by our good friends at Surfshark. So if you have Netflix and you're living outside of the USA, you need Surfshark. We can give you 83% off it with an additional 4 months for free by using code FFTV. Now, why do you need it? Because in the USA, they get all the box sets that we don't get in the UK, and you can access them all simply by changing your location with Surfshark VPN over to America and unlock all those box sets of movies. Scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. So the first game of the weekend is the 12:30 kickoff at St James's Park, where Newcastle will host Arsenal. Now, Newcastle have been ropey over the last couple of weeks, and Eddie Howe is definitely under pressure. That was eased slightly with their cup win yesterday. But can they take on Arsenal, who themselves haven't looked that great? They too went through in the cup, winning 3-0, but drawing with Liverpool in their previous game 2-2 after having the lead twice. Are there cracks starting to show in the Arsenal team? Newcastle need a win here, but a win against Arsenal is no easy feat. But I think the performance in the cup game against Chelsea, where they could have scored more goals, will definitely give them a bit of hope. So I can see this one not being a Newcastle victory, nor an Arsenal victory. I see this one ending honours even, and I'm going for Newcastle 1, Arsenal 1. A score draw on this one. Would both teams be happy with that? Probably Newcastle more so than Arsenal, I would guess. But what do you guys think? So the second game takes us to Anfield, which is a reverse fixture of the fixture we saw midweek between Brighton and Liverpool. And this one's obviously going to be Liverpool versus Brighton. Liverpool coming off the back of the cup win midweek against Brighton, so should psychologically feel in a better place, especially as it was away from home. But Liverpool are coming off the back of a late equaliser against Arsenal, with Mohamed Salah scoring the second goal there. And on the flip side, Brighton are coming from one of the most hilarious 4-on-1s I've ever seen, where they had an opportunity to kill the game off against Wolves in the last minute. And instead of scoring from a 4-on-1 situation, somehow they ended up conceding. So this is going to be an interesting game, to say the least. I think it's going to be high scoring. Brighton do play quite aggressively. Liverpool will have to at home to Anfield. We saw 5 goals, 3 going to Liverpool and 2 going to Brighton yesterday. I don't think there'll be as many, but I think Liverpool win this one. And I'm going to go for a home win here. I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Brighton 1. What do you guys think? Or will this just end up being a bore 0-0 draw? The next game of the weekend takes us down to Portman Road, where Ipswich will host Leicester. Leicester, who have just been slapped by Rude by 6 goals to 2, I think, or 5 goals to 2, whatever it was in the cup. And Ipswich, who blew a 2-goal lead against Brentford last week in the Premier League, then turned it round to bring it back to 3-3, and then still lost the match anyway. Ipswich, still without a win to their name in the Premier League, will be desperate to get it on this one. And we all know how badly Steve Cooper travels in the Premier League, having only had, on average, 1 away win a season, which he's already had at Southampton. Leicester themselves had lost to the mighty Nottingham Forest last week, once Chris Wood, the ex-player there, slapped him for 2 goals himself. And I can't see Steve Cooper getting another away win at Leicester. It's just embedded in his DNA. So I can see this one going down as Ipswich's first home win. Now, I think there will be goals. I think both teams will target this game as a must win, as the saying goes. So they will both be aggressive. I just think the home support there for Ipswich will be enough to spur the players on to get the victory. So I'm going for another high scoring match. In fact, I'm going to match the previous match that I just said. I'm going to go Ipswich 3, Leicester City 1. No more away wins for Steve Cooper. What do you guys think? The next game up this weekend will be at the Vitality Stadium, where Bournemouth will host Manchester City. Bournemouth, who were able to squeeze a late equaliser against Aston Villa in the league last weekend, with Ev Nielsen scoring a late header, will definitely feel like their tails are up. Having beaten Arsenal the week before, they're not in the worst of forms. Now, Manchester City, on the other hand, crashed out of the cup this weekend. Yes, they are sitting top of the table, but Pep is complaining about an injury crisis, claiming there's only 13 or 14 fit players currently in his squad. Even though he had Haaland on the bench yesterday against Tottenham, he refused to bring him on. So Pep, how can you complain about an injury crisis when you're not using your players? Injury crisis or not, I think this will be an away win. I think Man City will just about have enough. I do think it will be a tight game. I was thinking of going 1-0 to Man City, but I want to see goals. So I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 2. And this will keep Manchester City at the top of the table if I'm correct. But is there an injury crisis at City or not? What do you think? Or just cry me a river, Pep. So St Mary's is our next destination, as Southampton will host Everton. And this is probably a relegation 6-pointer, even though Everton are starting to turn their form around. Southampton sit rooted to the bottom of the table, and they're another team that is still winless, and they will 100% have to target this game. Southampton only lost to Manchester City 1-0 last week, and on the contrary, Everton came back with a late goal from Beto to equalise against Fulham to keep that momentum going for Everton. However, I feel that this is going to be the week that Southampton finally get their win. I don't think they've been playing bad football from all the games I've seen of them this season. I think with the home crowd, with the heartache they've had in a lot of matches this season, where they shoulda, coulda, woulda won, but didn't, this has to be the time. So I'm going to go for a narrow Southampton win on this one. I'm going to go Southampton 1, Everton 0. I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments as always. The world famous City Ground is where the next match will take place, and some would argue this is the main event of the weekend, as Nottingham Forest will host West Ham United. And Forest are high-flying right now, getting up to the dizzy heights of 5th after their win against Leicester, but when all the games were played out at the weekend, they still end up 7th going into this game week. West Ham, on the other hand, got a late controversial, shall we say, penalty against Manchester United, which ended up costing Erik ten Hag his job. But they played appallingly, in my opinion, during that match, with Manchester United missing ridiculous chances. But it doesn't matter, because all that will show on the record is 2-1 to West Ham. Forest are in cracking form right now. The confidence is high, both with the players, the managers and the fan base. And with Nuno now nominated for Manager of the Month, but still serving his final touchline ban, will that impact Forest, who have won every game without him on the touchline? I say the march continues with Forest. And I say Forest confidence is so high that they're going to get a few goals here. So I'm going Forest 3, West Ham 0. The second best defence in the league, statistically speaking, will hold out for another clean sheet. And West Ham will go back to London with no points. In previous encounters on this, Forest have won every game at the City Ground since they've been promoted back, and lost every game at the London Stadium. So I think it goes to form. Do you guys agree with me or not on this? Let me know in the comments down below. Molineux is our next destination, as Wolves will host Crystal Palace. Wolves, who are still unbelievably winless in the Premier League, will be desperate to get 3 points in front of the Molineux faithful. and they welcome Crystal Palace, who finally got off the mark themselves with a goal from Mateta as they beat Spurs by 1-0. Wolves, on the other hand, will have their heads slightly held higher after that late comeback which we spoke about earlier against Brighton last weekend. This is going to be a tight game, but I don't think Wolves have been playing bad football all season, to be honest. I just feel that the rub of the green hasn't gone their way, but their conversion of chances has been terrible. I think this is the one. I think Wolves get the 3 points here, so I'm going to back the home team. I'm going for a Wolves win. I'm going to go Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Crystal Palace 1. And that will just leave, that actually I think makes every team have a win that haven't already had one this season. Do you guys agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Back to London we go in the Tottenham Stadium as Spurs will host Aston Villa in this exciting looking clash on Sunday at 2 p.m. Spurs knocking out Man City in the cup yesterday, and Ange promising trophies, well, technically saying that he wins one every second season in every club he's been into. On the other hand, Emre is letting his football do the talk on the pitch, leading still now in the Champions League table and flying high in the Premier League. However, with Villa dropping points last week, can they rebuild the momentum and win away from home at Tottenham? And Tottenham will feel good about themselves having knocked out the 1-1-5 Manchester City. This all stinks to me of a draw though. Both teams like to play a high line, so I do expect some exciting football and entertaining football. But I can see this one ending up in a draw. And I think it ends up in a high scoring draw. So I'm going to go Spurs 2, Aston Villa 2, honours even. Both teams go away with a point. What do you guys think? In the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday, we will see Manchester United head out at Old Trafford for the first time without Erik ten Hag at their helm. It is believed that Ruud van Nistelrooy will be leading the team out while they sort out their new manager. And this will be an encounter between Manchester United and Chelsea. And my, how the mighty have fallen. Many moons ago, this would be a top of the table clash. Right now, both teams are hoping for European football, if they're lucky. And this one has a lot riding on it because Chelsea have just been knocked out of the cup after an abysmal performance against Newcastle midweek, with Cole Palmer starting on the bench after his superb pass against Newcastle in the league the week before. How many times do a team face each other in the league and then subsequently in the cup? There's got to be some stats on that somewhere. In the meantime, with Erik ten Hag out for Manchester United, they will need to prove that it was all on the manager and not on the players. Has Ruud van Nistelrooy used his manager bounce in the cup match? I think he has. Because I think even though Chelsea lost to Newcastle in the cup, it was just a blip in as they played a quote-unquote second string team. So I can see Chelsea going away and beating Manchester United. Even though United beat Leicester in the cup, I wasn't that convinced. So I'm backing an away win here. I'm going Manchester United 1, Chelsea 2. And this is going to be a good game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. The Monday night football takes us to Craven Cottage as Fulham will host Brentford in a West London derby. And I've got to say, it's not one of the most exciting matches when I looked on the fixture list, but it's still a Premier League clash. Fulham are doing okay. They did throw away a lead to Everton last week, Iwobi scoring a nice goal for them. And Brentford can boast the second highest goal scorer in the Premier League with Mbeumo, who converted yet again. But I just see this one as being a pretty timid clash, a pretty timid derby. And I'm pretty confident that Fulham will win this one, and they're going to win it comfortably in my opinion. So I'm going to go for a home win here. I'm going to go Fulham to beat Brentford. I'm going to go Fulham 2, Brentford 0. And I'm not going to lie, unless I've got nothing else to do Monday nights, I don't think I'll be tuning into that one. No offense, Fulham fans. No offense, Brentford fans. But I have a life. Get your thoughts in on that game as well down below. And ladies and gents, that takes you through all the fixtures this weekend. Get in the comments down below any ones that stand out to you and the predictions for your own club. And don't forget as well to check out the sponsors of the video, Surfshark, where you get 4 months extra for free, as well as over 83% off using code FFTV. Scan the QR code or click the link that's in the comments. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the Footy Network. We'll see you on the next video. Enjoy the fixtures and enjoy your weekend.